What's going on, guys? National Master James Canty III here with Chess.com, and today we have game of the day. With the white pieces, we have Daniil Dubov, and with the black pieces, we have Sergey Karjakin. This is the Russian Superfinals, and if Karjakin is able to win this game, he takes sole first of the Russian Superfinals, guys. He's the champ. Now, of course, Dubov is not going to let that happen. He's going to play his best and say, you're going to have to get through me, says Dubov. And here we are, e4, e5, knight f3 and knight to c6, bishop c4 and bishop c5. Very easy game. Could be an Evans Gambit, could be a Gioco Piano, something like that, Italian game type stuff. But after bishop c5, there's c3 from Dubov, and then knight f6. Going smooth so far, stuff that they've seen before. Nothing spectacular. d4 is the usual move here. Intending after e takes d4, we're going to see c takes d4, you know, kind of an easy game. Sometimes you can play d3 here. But what happens is e takes d4, usual move. And here, guys, what would you actually play? There are a few alternatives. e5, castling be a move, and c takes d4, right? These are the usual moves here. But this is what Daniil Dubov played here. He played something completely different, and the highest rated player to play this move right here, guys. Can you find the move that was played right here? Here we go, guys. This is the move. b4. Can you believe it? b4? I've never actually seen this myself. So this is definitely some home cooking, some prep that he's done to throw Sergey Karjakin off here. I mean, this was amazing to play b4. Now let's watch the follow-ups here. Now after b4, there is bishop to b6, and then e5 is played now instead of earlier, which is usually played here. The best defense is offense, and just because I'm attacked, it doesn't mean I have to move my piece. So after e5, actually d5 is the most thematic way to play. Sergey did not do d5 here, and let's actually take a look at what happens if d5 happens. F takes G, e takes f6 is the best way to play. D takes c4, then queen e2 and bishop e6. And then after b5, making a threat on the knight, knight moves out of the way. F takes g7, rook g8, we take on d4. Queen d7, and this is supposed to be what the position would look like if they went down that road, with black being slightly better and actually preparing to castle queen side. But that's actually not what happened at all. It was actually knight to e4 by Sergey Karjakin here. Now after knight e4, there's a bunch of ways to play, guys. You have castle, c takes d4. Do we play b5? Like, what are we playing here? What's the move? Like, what do we actually do here? Well, let's let Daniil to tell you guys what he did here, Daniil. Bishop to d5, actually. Bishop d5, this is the most aggressive way to play here. It's going to get pretty fun. Now let's see what happens here. He must capture the second pawn here. He has to go into this line because there's really nothing else to do here. Now, after bishop to d5, knight takes c3 from Karjakin. Knight takes c3, d takes c3, and here we go, guys. When you're on the attack, when you gambit something, when you're down material or you sacrifice something for rapid development, gambits and things like that, you need to keep the attack up. So what would you do to keep the attack up in this move, guys? Would you castle? Would you play like b5? Would you play a4? What would you actually play in this moment? Here we go, guys. Here's the move. Bishop g5, and this is also a novelty here. Now, it seems like bishop g5, just an easy move to make. I mean, I would play this too because, like, we're attacking a queen. It's a good move. But he keeps attacking. If Dubov waits for black to castle here, then queen e8 could be a move. So you want to get bishop g5 in easily. Now black must allow this pin to happen. And then knight e7. This seems very cramped for white here. Not the most fun position. And here we go. After knight e7, there's castles. Then there's h6 because he says, look, this pin has to go. I am tired of this pin. So the bishop backs up and says, not today. And if you want to get rid of this pin, you're going to have to play g5. And we're going to get very live after g5. And no, it's going to be messed up over here, especially if you're trying to castle on this side of the board. So after bishop h4, we have castles. Very natural move, but now white loves the attack here. Or the engines love white's attack after these next few moves. After castles, there's rook to e8, guys. Just putting some pressure on the file, maybe even some rook lifts. Maybe e6 could be in the future. You never know. It's always good to put a rook on e8 here. But the development for black is not there. It's non-existing. A little bit for white too on this side, but we have the bishop swiping the board here. This knight can come into play eventually, maybe through e5, and maybe we can have some type of queen play. Let's see what happens. After rook e8, there is queen to e8. He says, you know what, I am tired of this pin, and Daniil plays bishop to b3, backing it all the way up. Maybe bishop to c2. This could happen too as well. white is definitely in the driver's seat here, guys. Now watch this. A5 happens and says, look, we need to make something happen. Let's make some trades. Let's do something. I need to get my pieces out. Now, white to move, guys. Make sure you're on your attacking brain today. Hopefully you did your tactics and puzzle rush on Chess.com. Now, check this out. What would you play as white right here? I'm going to give you a few seconds to figure this one out. What would you play as white right now? Here we go, guys. A5. After A5, white plays this move right here. Bishop to F6. Can you believe that move right there? Bishop F6 is on the board against Sergey Karjakin. Imagine if you are Sergey Karjakin right now. How do you feel pressure-wise that I have to win this game to be champ? And I'm now getting Bishop F6 played on me on the board. Bishop F6 is a scary move. It's a very, very scary move here, guys. And of course, the idea here is after pawn takes, and this is pinned. And not only is the king side busted open now, but you have problems. And also, I'm getting my piece back with some interest here. So Bishop F6, great attacking idea. Now, after Bishop F6, there's A4 on the board here, which was not the best move. They said that Knight F5 actually was an entry, something to do here, but he plays A4 honestly because this is a scary position to be in. After A4, there's Bishop to C4. Now myself, I would have probably played Bishop to C2 and play Queen D3 and go in this fashion, but Bishop C4 keeps the pin here is what he wanted to do. Bishop C4, then you see Knight to G6 and Queen to D3, guys. We're attacking this knight. This bishop is pinning the pawn. Your pieces don't exist, says Dubov. Queen to D3 actually, and after Queen D3, there's D5. I have to do something here. And if this is the best move to make, you might be in some trouble here. Now, after D5, here we go. E takes D6. Your queen is hanging. Oh, and your knight is hanging. Oh, and you need something else to do. This bishop is hanging as well. Watch this, guys. Bishop to E6 is on the board. Are you ready for today? I hope you came ready to watch this video today. Now, I want you to stop the video right now and tell me what you would play if you were Dubov in this position. Hope you guys are ready. Here it is. Here it is, guys. This is the move of the day, move of the year, guys. Watch this combination. Here it is. If you said Queen takes G6, bam, oh my goodness, there it is. And Sergey Karjakin, you could probably see him sweating immediately after this move. Maybe flew back in his chair like in the Matrix or something. Queen takes G6 happened on the board, and it was a loud clatter. After clapping the piece there, it was amazing. Queen takes G6 is on the board, and he just stood up and looked at Karjakin. Probably did in his head. He didn't really do that, but I'm sure he probably wanted to. Queen takes G6 is on the board, sacrificing the queen, guys. And after F takes G6, Rook takes E6 to follow right after here. We have all of this eyeing him. I mean, this is very scary right now. Now we got our material back. We have discoveries against the king. Well, now he has two pieces for the queen, says Dubov. And we have an attack. Let's see what happens. Queen F7, he just kind of gets out of the way here. There's discoveries everywhere. So he just kind of blocks the discovery here and says, okay, cool. Yeah, you have a little bit of material. We're not going to give you everything. And here's what white does, guys. Watch the follow-up here. When you sacrifice and you do things like this, you want to wait and you want to actually look and see what's your follow-up. And you need to know beforehand before you actually get to this position and be wrong. So you want to have your follow-up ahead of time. And this is what he does here, guys. Bishop takes C3. There is no need to hurry. Black can't move the queen and the king off the A2, G8 diagonal. It's just very hard to do this. So Bishop takes C3. He just gets out of the way here. No need to hurry. And then King H8, he says, look, I have to get off of this as quickly as possible. But then here we go, Rook E4. Now we defend the queen here. And if you look at the compensation here, guys, compensation is very, very important. One of the hardest things to explain in chess is compensation. Yeah, I'm losing my queen. I've sacrificed it for a little bit of material. But I mean, we have our minor pieces. We have two bishops and a knight. And we have two rooks and an attack against the black king here. This should be enough compensation here, guys, especially as strong as Daniil is playing Sergey Karjakin. It could be wild here, and of course Daniil is known for these type of positions and attacking an aggressive play. So let's see what happens. Rook to E4, Queen F5, attacking the rook here. You got to keep the attacks up, as white does the same thing. You keep attacking, I'm going to keep attacking too as well, says Daniil. Rook E7 hitting G7, guys. This is very scary. The bishops and the rook work together brilliantly. Now, after Rook to E7, here it is. Rook G8 because he kind of has to. I mean, you have to defend G7. There's all kind of attacks, mating threats, mating ideas. So he says, okay, cool, you're going to give me the rook. I'm going to take it. Now we have 2 rooks and 2 pieces, and maybe even a passed pawn here versus these pieces here, which doesn't look that good, guys. It doesn't look that good. D takes C7. Now I have almost a queen here, and I have some pieces. All I have to do is trade probably one of the rooks or a bishop, and we're definitely in the driver's seat here. After D takes C7, he plays queen to C2 here, just keeping some threats on the board because this is not looking that good for Sergey Karjakin. He understands that. So now bishop to E5, we defend the C7 pawn with aspirations of queening later on. Now after bishop E5, bishop takes F2. He just takes the pawn because it's with check. You need to do something. And then the king just steps over. King to H1 and bishop back to B6. So now after bishop B6, we have H3 on the board. King H7 and rook E1, guys, activating the last piece. Now the rooks are doubled on the file here. This is usually what you want to do when you have rooks against the queen here. And then we have some attacks. Maybe we're going for rook to E2, removing the bishop from somewhere, moving it somewhere, maybe even bishop F6, and also playing rook to E7. So there's many moves to go here, but let's see what happens. A3 was played. What he's trying to do now is take on A2 and try to have his own pass pawn of his own, because this is not looking that good. This rook is only a defensive piece on G7. The bishop's still doing the same thing defensive-wise, trying to keep an eye on this. And the queen is, I mean, all the pieces that black has here, Karjakin is only on defense at this point. What a queen sacrifice by Dubov. King to H2, and then we have G5 on the board here. Just trying to make some holes for the king and do something here. Maybe queen back to G6, but we're running out of moves. We are running out of moves. When on the other hand, white's actually getting closer to the king. Knight to D4 followed by knight to F5 or E6, putting more pressure on the G7 pawn. Queen to C4. Then we have knight F5 threatening G7. Queen takes B4, hitting this rook. This rook is completely defended here. What he plays is rook to C1. Hey, we're about to queen. Okay, this compensation is beautiful. If you watch how all the pieces play together, it's hard to play against all of these pieces when you don't have enough material. Even having a queen is not enough sometimes. And that's exactly the case here in this game. Rook to C1, king to G6. He's out of the way. And here it is, guys. Dubov says, look, it's time to cash in this advantage. Okay, it's time to show everybody this queen sack did work. And after king to G6, rook takes G7 check. So now forcing a rook takes here. I mean, of course, if king takes F5, which actually did happen. But if rook takes G7, we just queen anyway. So Karjakin says, okay, you know what? I have to take the knight. And then rook takes G8. Not only are we about to queen now we have 2 rooks versus a queen. And he only has a queen and a bishop. That's nothing. Bishop takes C7 and bishop takes C7. Now, after the dust settles here, there's 2 rooks and a bishop versus a queen. This is more than enough for the win, actually, for white. Let's find a few more moves here. Queen to B2, attacking the rook. Rook to C5 check. His king is getting very, very short on spaces. He goes king to E4, and then rook to D8. And then Karjakin looked up. He looked around. He took a sip of water. He put it back down. He looked at Dubov, looked down at the position, and then black resigned right here. Black resigned right here because there was really nothing else to do. A sample line would be something like queen takes A2, and then after rook E5 check, king to F4, rook to D4 is checkmate. So there's really kind of no way out of these things, and there's other variations that can happen here. But he realized where he was. I don't have enough. My king's looking crazy in the middle of the street. I have nothing around my king. I'm probably going to be mated with the 2 rooks and the bishop, or if not, losing some decisive material, meaning the queen here at the end, guys. So really, really nasty game here. Let's actually go back and with the key critical moment. By the way, anyone that does play the Joko piano, even myself, because I love playing the Scotch Gambit, I'm going to try this out with this new B4 and see how far we can get here, because Dubov loves giving us something new here. And after B4, E5, knight E4, bishop D5, nice little sacrifice here. Bishop G5, I mean, nastiness here. Castles, bishop H4. And let's fast forward, guys. The best move was right here. This was the absolute best move. Here it is. Queen takes G6. Didn't even care about anything here. I mean, you would probably take here. You would look at this move. You would look at this move. But queen takes G6 is just phenomenal, guys. Queen takes G6. Rook takes E6. And now it's a party. It's a party, guys. It's a party. Look at this. This was awesome. This was absolutely awesome. Dubov put on a show here and stopped Karjakin from winning the Russian Superfinal Championship, guys. Now, this was Game of the Day. I'm National Master James Canty III here with Chess.com, and I'll see you guys on the next video.